Hey guys, it's Amon
and Christina
from Our Rich Journey.
In this video, we are going to be talking about our financial independence journey story. Now, on this channel, we always talk about ways to invest money, make money, and save money on the road to financial independence. And if you've watched our channel, you know that we reached financial independence and retired early before the age of 40. And we always focus on the process of getting to FIRE. So in this video, we have something very special for you. We are going to be talking about 6 very pivotal points in our lives that contributed to us becoming millionaires.
And I like to call this the moments that made us millionaires. Now, I think what is so special about what we're going to talk about today is that we all have these moments in our lives. It's a crossroad moment. It is something that happens to you that is so impactful, that is so instrumental, that it changes your life forever. Well, for us, each one of these moments did exactly just that. It sent our lives in a certain trajectory towards financial independence and towards becoming millionaires. So we're going to talk about these moments in chronological order to help you understand how we got to the point of achieving financial independence. The first moment happened to me when I was 17 years old and I met a millionaire for the first time. Now you have to understand, my whole life I had never met a millionaire in real life. I'd only seen them on TV, and so I had this perspective of what it took to become a millionaire. Now, what was so amazing about meeting this man is that he broke every stereotype that I had about how to become a millionaire. He wasn't an athlete, he wasn't famous, he didn't invent some crazy idea. He was an old-fashioned millionaire next door. He had amassed his wealth by investing in the stock market and by investing in the real estate over a long period of time. You see, after this meeting with him, this man really took me under his wing. He taught me everything he knew about investing. He showed me all of his investments. We would sit down and he would walk me through things step by step.
So that was the first pivotal moment, and that happened when Amon was 17 years old. So we are going to fast forward 2 more years after that, and that's when we actually met each other. That is our next pivotal moment, when Amon was 19 and I was 21, and we met each other in college.
So Christina and I met at a barbecue that the faculty had put on. And because the faculty was putting this barbecue on, all of the food was free. And if you knew me in college, anything that involved free and food, I was there. And I guess Christina was too. Because after we met at this barbecue, the next day there was another free barbecue for students, and she happened to also be there. You see, I think me and Christina meeting under these conditions, poor, starving students getting free food, it really set the tone for not having to, be flashy around each other or live beyond our means. We knew that this was our situation and that we made the best of it. And we've always done that throughout our relationship.
So one thing I really love about how we first met is it really painted this perfect picture of our humble beginnings. We didn't come from families with a lot of money, and when we merged together, we realized that we didn't have to spend a lot of money to be happy. We were very happy going to free barbecues and getting free food, but that really describes our relationship in terms of how we valued money. We didn't feel like we needed to be flashy with our money, and that translated from the day we met up until today. So the next pivotal moment has to do with me specifically. At the end of college, I was 21 and I had been saving up all of my money because I knew I wanted to take a trip after I graduated and before I began working. So I had been working at this coffee shop in college, saving all of my money, and when I graduated, I decided to take a trip to Spain. And at the very tail end of my trip, I decided to go to Morocco by myself. So I ended up staying at this hostel for a couple of nights that was super cheap. I remember you had to put like maybe a 25 cent in there in order to take a warm shower. But what happened after the first night that I was there were a group of students that came and stayed at the hostel, and I met this girl, and she ended up inviting me to go down to Casablanca with her and stay with her and her family. And I ended up traveling through Morocco with her and staying with her family for 2 weeks. And that was such a pivotal point in my journey, just throughout my life in general, because I really feel like I was able to go somewhere all by myself, had no plans whatsoever, didn't know where I was gonna stay, really didn't have any money, and it turned out to be an incredible experience. So I think it really taught me that I could be fearless in my decision making. I could go out and I could take nothing and turn it into something incredible.
And this brings us to the next moment in our life. You see, by Christina going abroad and going on that adventure all by herself, created a fearless attitude that our family has always had. And this leads to what we did when we were about 23 years old. We quit our jobs, our good jobs when we were 23 years old, and decided to move to Spain. Now, we were lucky enough to line up one job when we moved to Spain, but it paid far less than what we were making in the US.
So like Amon said, when we moved to Spain, we only had one job. We did not both have job offers. So we quit our comfortable lifestyle, we put everything aside, and we moved to Spain. But we did this because we realized that we could open more doors. We saw something bigger than just that one job offer. And it turned out to be such a pivotal decision in our journey. And ultimately, it led to us both getting better jobs, having a higher salary, and also having a better quality of life.
And this was a really big thing for us because if we had stayed in the US, we would have taken the normal path that most Americans take. But by us getting outside of our comfort zone, it added perspective to our journey. And it made us a lot more money because when you work overseas, there are so many benefits. We paid less in taxes. Our housing and utilities were all paid for. And all of that money that we were able to make and save, we were able to invest it in stocks and in the real estate. By making this one decision that seemed outlandish at the time for us to leave our comfy jobs in the US and go to this unknown environment overseas, that seemed crazy. But looking back, it would have been crazy to stay put. By us leaving, that was the best financial decision we ever made.
So the next pivotal moment has to do with the exact moment that we decided that we were gonna retire before 40. And this comes from Amon, actually. He came home from work one day, and at work he had received an award for 10 years of service with the federal government. And he was actually very excited about receiving this award until the person next to him also received the same award, but his award was for 30 years instead of Amon's 10 years. And I remember Amon coming home from work that day and just saying, you know, if I put all of my work into the federal government, if I spend all this time working, at the end, I'm just gonna get a paper just like everyone else, and it's going to say, Amon served 40, 50, however many years working for the federal government. And at that time, he came home to me and he said, I wanna retire before I'm 40. And I remember sort of thinking of that and thinking, wow, this is a really strange thought. We had never heard of FIRE. We never heard of this concept of retiring early, but Amon really planted this seed that day for us to think about how would that be like if we retired early? What would we need to do in order to retire early? And that was such a huge pivotal moment on our FIRE journey because it caused us to really begin to take action.
And I want to pause for a minute and focus on what Christina said. She said action. You see, for a lot of people, they may have this idea of wanting to achieve financial independence, of wanting to retire early, and they do all the research to be able to do it, but they lack the action to take. And for us, we were moving in the right direction, but it was that moment, it was that ceremony that lit the fire under our butts to take action. You see, I did not want to stay at the federal government until I was 60 years old. There's nothing wrong with working for the federal government, but for me, I wanted to retire before 40 so that I could focus on the things in life that were more important than my job, like my family, like spending more time taking care of myself, spending more time with Christina and the girls, all things that I think are very important. So by having that ceremony, we came home, we talked in detail about all the action we need to take in order to retire before 40. Now, this next pivotal moment has to do again with action, and it was when we flipped our first house. You see, we had devised this plan to retire early, and it involved house hacking and doing something called a live and flip. And so the first thing we did was we bought a home with the idea of living in it, flipping it, and moving to the next home, called it live and flip. And when we took action, and we did this, we were so amazed at the results. This inspired us to do even more when it came to real estate. You see, we made over $400,000 on our fire journey just in real estate profits. And it was because we got the inspiration and confidence by doing our first live and flip successfully. And this confidence and success gave us so much momentum on this journey that we still use to this day. You see, when we talk about investing, whether or not it's investing in the stock market or investing in real estate, we always talk about when you invest, you should invest with confidence. And you gain that confidence by doing the proper research. And research is key, but so is action. So if you guys have been watching our channel, you've seen over 100 videos about all of the different mechanical things that we did in order to invest in the stock market, in order to invest in real estate, all of the side hustles that we've done. We've given you enough information for you to also take action. Maybe discovering our channel is that pivotal point in your life. I don't know. Maybe it's something else. But the point is, when you encounter these moments in your life, it's what you do after that moment passes. It's the action that you take to move forward towards your financial independence goals.
So these are the 6 pivotal moments that contributed to us becoming millionaires and to reaching financial independence and retiring early. We hope that you can relate to these moments. Maybe you have your own particular moments, but if anything, we hope that these moments can serve as fuel to your fire journey. And of course, if you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and join the journey.